Hi, Linda. Hi, everyone. We're back to discuss the current political reality and all world issues. What have you been focused on recently?
Um, well, first of all, I have COVID, so be sure to keep your distance.
Okay.
Fortunately, it's a mild case, and I tested this morning, kind of thinking, nah. And I went ahead and did it, and I had it because yesterday I was so tired I couldn't hardly put my head up. I was exhausted, and people said, Linda, when you get like that, where you're really dizzy and stuff, usually we have an earthquake, which we did have one in Japan, but I think it's more from COVID. So,
Yeah, yours would be a case of this planetary station, the Saturn, which was like over the weekend, but it has a span of at least a week on either side and often 2 weeks on either side. It's a zone where if it's not that, it's some other annoying thing where energy gets suppressed or, held back in
yeah,
some way. And it's like life's trials and tribulations when Saturn
right,
is doing
right.
that. Yeah. So,
So the what's the name? Burbalt, or how do you say it?
the witch?
Burbalt's basket.
Oh, Barbeau's basket. Yeah. Barbeau's
Barbo's
basket.
basket.
People keep referencing that. And I've mentioned it possibly talking with you, maybe talking with Nate. I haven't actually done an actual video on it, I don't think. Or maybe I mentioned it in passing.
I think we talked about the last time. What
Yeah.
aspects are involved?
Yeah, those are actually good. The Barbeau uh, point was that during these years, there are good aspects made by the outer planets where Neptune, Pluto, Uranus are. I think that that's what's protecting the world entirely from something much worse, than what we could be
Really?
facing. That's what it probably is, but it's not making everything great either, as you know, from
No.
all the different problems we're having. But because of the Barbeau basket, things are, I think, held back from, total disaster.
Well, I'm hearing from a lot of friends and people that collective consciousness, they're saying something's happening to me, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
Collective
I feel different.
happening to you?
No, people are saying, personal friends,
Oh, I see.
and are saying, can you feel it? I'm feeling something different.
I always say to people when they say that, well, tell me something really specific that you feel has changed for you. And by the way, I would want to ask you the same question a month from now, right? Is that still true? Because I was hearing this in the 1980s. Do you remember the 1980s? There was that thing called the harmonic convergence. There was
Never
this
heard of
thing.
it.
There were all these planets, and all these people were saying there are these mysterious forces. And I remember saying, I don't know, I don't notice anything different. And then it went away, and then people start talking about it. So I think when you say something about some change that you're experiencing, you gotta kind of see it through and calibrate it. It's like someone who says, "Okay, I'm going to the gym to get fit," and then a month later they're not doing it. Well, then the impulse probably wasn't all that real. It was just a
Right.
passing thing, right?
I didn't ask them how many brownies they had, but maybe that could have been it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So give us the 411 on Trump's chart now that he's filed with the Supreme Court that he wants them to interfere with voting. I personally, as a psychic, and I did a wee show, not very long. I threw the cards and it says, no, he won't get it. And there's one particular person that stands out. I think it's Judge Justice, uh, I just went blank. The lead, what's his name? Roberts.
Roberts. Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, they've already judged on this before, so that would be the earth logic where you look at, okay, what did these people already say about this? But if you're looking for the astrologic, no, he's just in a zone to get almost all is negative. I mean, look what he just did. He goes to this correspondence dinner, and by all accounts, he made a fool of himself, right?
Oh, it was terrible.
And the only thing with Trump is then he'll do a rally in Georgia, and he's telling the people, he's saying prices have dropped, they're lower than ever, and they're all clapping, and you're thinking, all right, well, this is just like this is a made up routine. He will never relent. on his message. He just keeps repeating the same trash over and over again.
over
But
and over again.
we know the numbers. We know that I heard today 25% of independents are with him. That's a catastrophic number when you're going toward an election because you're going to lose. Why do you think he's asking the Supreme Court to pass a law to do something about mail-in voting? Because he knows that the mail-in voting is very unfavorable. But that's in the domain of the states. They're not going to do it, but that would be a earth logic. Astrologic, his chart, no, his chart it has too many problems, right?
Right.
Too much denial. It's in the zone too. The very zone that his chart is suffering most from it's that house, international affairs, hence the war in
Okay.
Iran. He's stuck, and then he's trying to get judgments. What judgments has he gotten that have been that good? None. Like one or two here or there that are not that meaningful. The majority,
Oh, that Mark Elias, I love watching him, and he loses almost every time.
yeah, exactly. And does this mean he's going to stop trying? No, he's going to keep going. But part of his magic is that he gets you to believe through his trolling that he has magical powers, and he doesn't. He really doesn't. That's the truth of the
He has
situation.
magical dump diapers, is what he's got.
Yeah.
So, have you taken a look at Zelensky? He's kind of, I know Ukraine still suffers, but he's over there and they're all treating him much better now. And I just want to know how his chart looks.
Zelensky's doing fine, and Putin is not. That's it. I mean, look at Putin's situation. So, what's the latest? Yesterday, I see this video where Ukraine is now hitting the equivalent of Amazon. They have these things. I have no idea why they call it. I think they call it. There's berry in the middle of it, and I thought, how come
Oh, is that
Russia?
BlackBerry or something like that?
Yeah, it's the organization in Russia that
Oh,
handles. They buy, people buy the way we buy from Amazon here, and this is considered civilian in the sense that a lot of civilian people, a lot of ordinary people buy there. But Ukraine knows also that what they're doing is they're selling drone parts and things like that, so that it's also military because you can go buy the equipment there. So Ukraine said, no. So they literally are destroying them. I think something like 3 or 4 yesterday, and now Russia's really upset, which, I
I
mean,
bet.
don't make me laugh. So you're allowed to bomb Kyiv with your missiles, but they're not allowed to hit you back.
Oh,
So,
no.
and there's also Crimea. Crimea, apparently now they're all trying to leave because it's fully isolated. Russia's having a heck of a problem with this
Oh,
war.
yeah.
And this is because Putin's chart is where we talked about years ago. It's now there. It's there this year. It's there next year. You can look at Zelensky's, which is doing pretty good, but you can look at his enemy, which is doing worse, and there's your answer as
Yeah.
well, right?
And also, Kim Jong-un is sending 50,000 more people. They all die. They don't train their North Korean people very well.
No, it's
And the stuff that the tanks and stuff they send, they're made terrible, so they fall apart. So
it's a total loser, and the only thing is, you wish it would happen faster. It happens.
it
The
will
speed that is
happen.
happening.
It
Yeah,
will
but we're in
happen,
it
but we just
like
don't know when.
26 and 27 into middle of 28 is not a good zone for Putin. And I don't see how he survives this zone because the way that country is doing, this is the classic thing in Russia where they replace you. When things get this
And by
bad.
replace, you don't mean sent off to a nice island. They mean 6 feet under.
Well, or at least, I don't know about that. All I know is that this is the classic thing in Russia too. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction every 36 years brings in something new. Like the last one was the 89 thing when the wall fell and there was this big realignment, and they've just maneuvered themselves into another one because economically they're crashing. And you notice that Trump, who's like a weather vane, he goes with whatever's going on. What do you notice about Trump? All of a sudden, he's got Zelensky in the White House again.
Yeah.
And he's promoting Ukraine. What about Laura Loomer, that crazy woman? All of a sudden, she completely flipped.
She found out her relatives are Ukrainian.
These people aren't serious people. I mean, I'm sorry, today it's this, tomorrow it's that. But notice that a lot of them are going in the other direction now.
Yeah.
In the MAGA movement, right? Which is another thing. Whenever you're seeing your opponent splinter, that's a good thing. You've got more division, more people going off on tangents. That's always a good thing.
There was a picture of Zelensky and Trump in the Oval Room, and of course it was a made up picture. But Zelensky had a suit with cards on it, like Queen of Cups and Six of Pentacles, and Trump had the Ukrainian flag on his suit. I thought it was funny.
Who's got the cards now, right?
Yeah, who's got the cards now?
Who's got
And
the
he plays them. I'm going to tell you, Zelensky is sly. He's good and he wants good for his people, but he knows how to maneuver and work. As terrible as things have been, he kept moving forward and hit all the countries begging for help, and boy, he got that drone business going. He's doing fantastic.
Yeah, and this is where you see that the astrology, cycles can take a while. It's just how it is. Like when you and I were talking, you had said this years ago. You saw Putin running.
Running from
but
clouds.
in between that and now, he was at times doing pretty well. Like 24 was a great year for Putin. They were really expanding. By 25, it was getting tougher. By 26, it's really, really bad. So Zelensky has to wait till for things to really get great, 28, because 28 is when he's an Aquarius, he's got Gemini rising, Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter then goes into Libra. Things line up phenomenally. That's how politics and wars and things tend to happen. Even if you're doing better, if you're saying best, get to a really good place, that's still a couple of years away. But it's definitely going in the right direction. And to me, the people that think Russia, I don't know. I
Well,
think Russians,
one of the news people said, hey, to the president, so what do you think about Putin giving information to Iran that's killing American men? And he says, well, I got to ask Putin. Like Putin would tell him the truth.
like Putin would tell him the truth. I know. No, we're in the part that is hardest to accept is just how awful the leadership is right now. Because I'm sorry, look, we have a total clown running this country. The
He's
man
such
is
a
just
liar and a fraud.
he's not a serious person. He just isn't a serious person. He'll go from this to tomorrow. He'll be telling you about the ballroom. He'll be telling you about something to do with Rushmore, some side project. He's not a serious person. He just isn't.
And then because he lost and his name was taken off the Kennedy Center, he hides it because he's such a big baby.
For now, that's what we're dealing with. But everything.
And his family is
moves.
making money hand over foot.
Yeah, hand over fist. Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. There's no question.
So what about? Did we ever see Lindsey Graham going? I don't recall seeing him
we
going.
didn't really look at it. We didn't look at it, but yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If I track every single chart out there,
Yeah,
keep them all
you'd
in
be going crazy.
my head's gonna explode. I looked at when I was looking at Graham. Had he been alive, had he stayed alive, you could see he would have been very frustrated with the results of the election in December. Well, he's not alive, but the same zone is, well, in this case, his life ended. So that's one of the
And
things
it
that can
wasn't,
happen.
it was definitely a natural cause.
What's a natural cause?
He died of natural causes. He wasn't taken out or anything.
Oh, no, yeah, no, but natural causes in this case could mean he had a final health breakdown of some kind, from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because, I mean, isn't that what you also thought about Trump, too, that Trump would be unlikely to die in prison or anything like that?
Yeah, I didn't feel like when everything starts coming down. That's why I know we're going to win, because he's going to fall apart when the Dems take over. I see him not being able to handle it because he's saying he's going to run again in 2028. And I laughed. I said, you won't even be alive then.
Well, I mean,
Or maybe not unalive, but too sick to be able to run.
yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. When people say that we talk about his health and he's still out there, but he's really diminished. He's not in a great place. You have to keep your mind on that. And by the way, his chart says that.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Now, what about Netanyahu, by the way, who's over at the White House right now?
he's another one that he's facing an election in a few months, and
He's going to lose.
gonna lose. Like he's in the same. He and Putin have a lot of Libra planets. If you get on the wrong side of an issue, and they both have, and then you face down the Saturn, you get a no. That's bread and butter astrology. And by the way, this would be true of a person who might be a good person, but then the consequences wouldn't be as dire. Like, for example, a person may feel maybe they're held back for a while. They're trying to do some business thing, and they notice that during that period, it feels like they're fighting against the tide, or there's like a wall in front of them. Then things improve after that, and they just remember it as a more challenging period. But being the head of a country and making the choices they've made, now they're encountering their own obstacles, right? Because both of them are the electorate, pushes back against them.
Right.
And both of them, interestingly, much like Trump as well, part of what happens is that it could be their health in all cases as well, because their health, especially for Putin's planets are in a health zone. So it might be that, well, he could use that as an excuse. For example, I have to leave because my health,
Yeah.
prevents
Sometimes
me.
I thought Trump might do that too.
Yeah, although with Trump, you always know that whatever you hear, it's not true.
That's true.
That's it. No, it's a lie.
That's true.
I mean, I couldn't believe he said that. He said that prices have never been lower. Like we're not going to the store or anything, right?
30% uptick right now on groceries.
I know. Apparently, it's the highest rise in 50 years.
My gas is $7 a gallon down the
Yeah.
street.
California is expensive, yeah, for sure.
Oh, you guys aren't having any fires, are you?
No, this year a little bit of smoke, but nothing. Smoke from somewhere, but it only lasted
Well,
about.
Oregon has
day
a
or
bunch
two.
of fires. At 8,000 lightning hits in Oregon.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I wanted to ask you about Iran. I don't know how you would look at that. How do you look at Iran to see if we're ever going to come to some sort of...
Well, the most I have so far is that, because I'm looking at it in two different ways. One is that when I look at Trump's chart and I look at the situation as it is, there's no good way out of this. So this is going to be one of the main reasons this guy crashes and burns in the election. Although it could have been some other reason. I mean, he wasn't doing well already, all of that, right? But I know that in the near term, going into August, it helps Iran in some way, because Iran has Jupiter assistance in August. So at minimum, they're going to keep it going. They're going to keep this thing. You notice that it keeps repeating, right? They get into a shooting at each other. Then they say, okay, we're going to negotiate. Then it's calm for a while, and they do it again. This has been going on for months, and it's not a good thing for the Republican Party. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Because, the voters know that it's causing actual life problems, with
Yeah,
price.
and their sons and daughters are over there. They don't like that. And you don't see Trump's family volunteering for the military.
No, are you kidding? Trump's family volunteering for the military.
But Biden just made a comment to some reporter that, he had Netanyahu up his butt begging him to hit Iran, and he refused. He said he shut it down. And then he said, and then sure enough, Trump comes in and we got a war. And he said, Netanyahu is a warmonger. That's the words he used.
Yeah. Although there is the other backstory too, that Trump, part of the reason he did it is he was very hawkish on Iran. He was kind of hiding it because he always thought that the U.S. could do it, and he thought mistakenly that it could be done, right? Even though,
Well, because of Venezuela, right?
yeah, but the thing is, like a guy like Trump, he always thinks he knows more than anyone else, and
He knows more than the generals and everyone.
yeah, like I can remember if I go back decades in my life, I would try to reinvent the wheel. I would try to do something opposite to everyone else. And then it wouldn't work. And then I would think, well, this is why people do it this way, obviously. So just start doing it the way everybody else does because it works better. you've had presidents, okay, like how stupid can they be? You've had Carter, you've had Clinton, you've had Bush, you've had all these presidents. What, they're all dummies? They don't understand this problem? They probably realize, no, this is not a good plan, which is why they wouldn't attack, because they
Yeah.
knew it's better with Iran, stick to economic pressure, which was working until this guy got in the middle of it. Now they figured out, well, we can just close the Strait of Hormuz. So now what do? Right? Now you've
Yeah.
got a huge problem. So it's very difficult to get out of it. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
So coming up, what are the aspects coming up? What about that eclipse in the middle of August? Is that a big deal or?
I don't know. I mean, it's a continuation. I don't know that I would make too big a deal out of that. It's possible that there is some important battle then or something, but I would not put up too much stock in that. It's just part of the same zone that we're in, which is just really uncomfortable for the country, more from things being stuck because he's created this problem. He's in the box, and there's no good way out of this problem. None. Because if you give them too much, then you create an even bigger problem. If you don't give them enough, then they start bombing ships. If they bomb ships, then you can't move the oil through there because the insurance companies don't want to pay the money because they'll lose their money. So you get a never-ending circle, And so if you expect gas to go down, no, I don't think so. That's unlikely for months.
So
and
are you
months.
excited about anything coming up in August or?
Well, I don't know that I'm excited. I'll say this. When I think of July overall, because of all the stations, it's harder, more difficult. August should be a little bit easier, I think,
Oh,
because it
thank
starts to pull away, and it doesn't have quite as much pressure, connected to it. That's how I'm
But
looking at August.
I can see American people getting very upset and tired of this gas going up and not being able to afford groceries. I can see people, and then if they decide to do the draft, that's the rumor, I doubt very much they try to bring a draft in before midterms.
No, that's. I think, first of all, okay. So you do a draft for what? You mean to bring in people to send to war? The whole plan is insane. I mean, I would doubt that very, very much.
And we do have the media that likes to cause a lot of drama, and they love to go with stuff like that, just so we're all afraid.
Yeah, but to me, all of this is pointing in one direction, and it's pretty clear. November. That's it. Because people often say, this guy he gets away with everything. When will there be accountability? And I just replied, the first step in accountability is early November. That's it. I mean, what accountability do you want? Are you telling me that we're going to be saved by some magical? No, we're not. No, I don't see it. And it's good, by the way. I'm really happy that we have a system where you can do this. That it's not a barbaric system where we have to grab, sticks and stones and guns and
Oh, well,
whatever.
look at what Russia
No,
did. They would take the voting ballots out, which is
right.
what Trump wants, but they're not allowing him to do it.
No, 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 no. That is the one of the most helpful things about the U.S., which could cause problems in other ways, but the independence of the states, because even the Republican states, they don't want to give their voter rolls to anybody. They want their own independence. Everybody keeps their own zone. So they're going to resist mightily. The other thing now, too, about the Supreme Court thing, if you think about it, if they were to say yes, this is just earth logic, they would create massive chaos because
Yeah,
we're
especially
getting
this
close.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But even before you get to that, it's a loser. Now, mind you, what you're going to see again is you're going to see probably Alito and Thomas, saying that because they seem to go with anything at all that has to do with Trump's wishes. They tend to
Yeah.
approve him every single time, which I think is pretty sad. I wish they
Yeah.
would be like 9-0 on such an obvious thing, especially because this guy, he votes by mail himself.
I know.
Right? He always does. But that doesn't occur to people, the utter
Oh, yeah, but
hypocrisy.
that doesn't matter. Yeah.
No, I mean, this is the part for me that the most stunning part to this whole thing is I go back to 2016 when he was running telling people that he didn't need any money. And now he spends his whole time asking people for money. He sends his supporters constant, hey, you're not giving me enough. I thought you were totally rich. Why are you
Yeah.
asking for money? It's brutal.
He's just a liar.
Yeah.
Now, last question, because can you believe we're already going on 40 minutes, right?
Hmm.
McConnell, I,
Let me put it this way. McConnell is either already dead or he soon will be, because the way that chart is, it's like six or half a dozen. Both are possible because remember that with McConnell, the problem they're having is that there's a danger to the Senate numbers. Because I believe, I don't know the full mechanics, but I believe there's a problem with Bashir because he's the governor, he can appoint something. The Republican Party is panicking in multiple directions. They're losing numbers and they keep getting these problems, where doing something that normally should be no problem all of a sudden becomes a problem due to the fact that you can lose numbers. Because ask yourself this, Trump is approving of Lindsey Graham's sister for the Senate.
I know.
Right? But her politics are not all that conservative. So they're having to adapt, to keep things moving as best they can. Otherwise they can find themselves on the completely wrong end of it, and it could be even more problematic. But to those who think, this idea of the SAVE Act and all this, that whole thing is a total loser. It's not going to happen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
No.
But also that they're not voting for Blanche right now.
When Nathan and I we thought he might sneak in there, but because he does have Jupiter in August. So I have to be honest about that. Jupiter has a way of carrying you through. Like what I had read was that Blanche is not liked by the people voting, but that apparently he's the least bad option, which is a pretty scary thought. So if he's the least bad, what's worse than that? But they actually thought that it's like bargaining with the devil. They thought this is the way it might have to go. But I would tell people too, try to be patient. Don't be discouraged by the fact that right now we're surrounded by liars and idiots. Sometimes, cycles are like this. It's just the way it is. I mean, this is the 2020s version of the 1860s Civil War. I think it's better than the 1860s because a lot of people were dying in the 1860s. We lost hundreds of thousands of people. So that's about as much as I can say about looking at it on the bright side, even if it scares you and so forth. To me, the flow is going in the right direction. But yeah, we would all want it to go faster. I certainly would.
I know that people keep telling me, Linda, when? I can't do that. Psychically, I can't tell you. I can tell you that it's going to happen, but I don't know when.
To me, the first, what's curious though is that I remember, I've repeated this so many times. I remember at the end of 24, soon after the vote, when Trump came in, and I was kind of thought, I think, oh my God, I can't believe I got four years of this total turd. And then looking at Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, I thought, that looks pretty cool for 26, I mean, it's 2 years away then. I remember that I said it in a video and people said, we can't survive until then. We'll never make it till then. Well, we've made it because we're here, right? We're here. We're still alive and kicking. And now it's much closer, and that's what
And the writing's on the wall. Look at all the primaries and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, every metric, whenever you see a metric out there of something happening, it's some form of bad news to the Republican Party. Like things like where people are bailing on Fox News or, losses in places they should be winning because people are genuinely upset. I heard these multiple farmers in Kansas, he bankrupted them with the things that they did. No. And so they have to be thinking, I heard a farmer say, I've always voted Republican. I can't vote Republican anymore because these people are literally taking away my resources through what they're doing. And he keeps pushing into it. He's always looking for ways to bring in new tariffs or new ways to make costs higher, right? But he's obsessed.
And he's not doing anything for the Americans to make them feel better.
No, yeah.
He just keeps pushing his agenda.
Yeah, and I mean, that doesn't mean you're still going to get people voting that way. How do you see, by the way, because this is kind of a big metric, like in Texas, do you see Tallarico beating Pence?
I see Tallarico.
Well, if that were to happen, because because their charts are close. They both have Jupiter at the time of the election. So,
Right.
and one of them I don't know the time. It's a little bit gray, but that would be the marker. I think if Tallarico can beat Paxton, that's like a tell that the Senate definitely
Because
goes
a lot of people don't
Democratic.
like Paxton in Texas right now. He's such a cheat and a fraud.
Yeah, well, the latest poll was 45-40 for Tallarico. But
Oh,
you got to see more polls though. Like with polls, the way you know how polls work is keep watching and keep getting the trend, the trend as it goes, right? And yeah,
right, right. Dang. What about that guy in Maine? I think he's going to win.
yeah. I think though that guy, I have yet to look at his chart. There, I look at sort of in reverse, the idea that Collins, she's past her expiration date. She's just
I'll tell you, when they killed that guy in Maine, I said that's the end of her career.
which
When
guy?
ICE killed the guy in Maine,
Yeah, that's true too.
that father in front of his child
That's
and
true
the
too.
wife, and he was a United States citizen, I said that's the end of her career.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, look, things are not. They're not going well. You've got ICE again engaging in killings. This is front and center. People are seeing it. You've got Trump pretending that there's no problem with the economy when in fact prices are rising in every direction. You've got RFK with his crazy theories, and what do we have? We have all this lettuce with bacteria and so forth.
Oh, and if you were, what is it when they do to a little boy when he's born with his penis?
Oh, circumcision.
Yeah, then you're more likely to be ADHD or something. I can't remember. So
If what?
this isn't based on science. He said, I saw him talking out of his own mouth. Children that have been circumcised tend to be, autistic or something like that.
Yeah, but that's
And
not
it's just coming out his ass. He doesn't know what he's talking
like
about.
half. That means that practically half the world is out there. I mean, it's beyond. I mean, again, this is the mark of ultimately people that are not serious. They pretend to be serious, but they're holding ideas that are they're not good ideas. They're unserious, but the consequences are there. Like apparently, things like polio and measles are up, and
Can you
you might
believe it?
think you might think to yourself, because this is the line people will use a lot. They'll say, "Well, I hope people are thinking this. I hope people realize." People do realize. That's why you get the numbers that you're getting. That's the whole
Yeah,
point. They'll poll people and they go like that because you're never going to get all of them. That would be very unusual. But when you see 2/3 against you, that is not good. That's a sure
not
sign
good.
you're going to lose. You're going to lose because there are
Well,
too many people.
that's why Trump is so desperate.
Yeah, that's precisely why. Yeah, yeah. And by the way, he will still try things. Now, here's my I don't even know if this is possible, but it's the way I would do it. If I were a Democratic governor, you know how I get in front of this guy? Is without now of course I'm saying it here, so but let's face it, they're not gonna see this video, so it's safe. The point being that you know that he might do something crazy like send in the ICE to a polling station, right? What
Right.
you do is you put your police or your National Guard about 2 or 3 weeks before the election. You say, we got to make the election secure. So we're putting in heavy law enforcement and we're putting in the Guard to make sure that voters are safe and everything is fine. Then he can't bring in his own people in there. He can't
That's
surprise
true.
you. The whole idea is to eliminate those kinds of things. Now, this is probably unrealistic, but it's the kind of way you have to think through what might he do to genuinely upset things. My feeling is nothing, nothing, and he'll probably post the election, fight tooth and nail. Still
It
doesn't
was
matter.
cheating. Yeah.
Yeah, with trying, but trying doesn't mean
And I
success.
don't see that pillow guy winning anything either.
Who? The pillow guy,
The
the guy that
pillow
was.
guy's running for governor
Uh,
in Minnesota. Yeah. And he doesn't even live there.
that guy doesn't know the difference between a pillow and a vote. Are you kidding me? He's. Have you heard that? Have you heard him? He's. I mean, some of these people, by the way, when you listen to them, and it includes Trump, you get the sense. Sometimes I look at the guy and I think you're mentally ill. I think
I
there's
think they
something wrong
all
with
are. Yeah.
your brain is fried. The pillow guy, you listen to him and you think this guy's like an escapee from an asylum. He's just
Yeah.
uttering complete nonsense, and yet he's out there, and remarkably, people
And he gave
still
everything to
clap.
Trump, all his money. He did everything he could to give Trump everything and claimed that the voting was a fraud and could never prove it. Just for Trump. He performed for Trump like a circus animal.
Yeah, well, a lot of them do, but take, you know, take it as a positive that you see all this splintering where people that were pointing in one way now are pointing in another. That Fuentes guy, he's a crazy person. If you listen to his entire thing, you realize this guy's nuts. But he's one of the clearest critics of Trump. He tells you bluntly what Trump is doing that is completely wrong. If you listen to him, you think this is what Democrats should be saying,
I'll have to
constantly.
watch him.
But oh yeah, I mean, he is so clear in his message and saying Trump is ripping you off, his family's getting rich, he's doing everything the opposite of what he's telling you, all of it. Clears about
Oh,
it.
he
But
didn't need our money and he was going to donate his salary. He never did nothing.
no, none of that. No, it's all, I mean, he counts on the Republican Party, they count on people not paying attention. Like, for instance, you remember that speech that he did recently, Trump, where on TV and all that, and he claimed that he had information and he had documents to prove that there was cheating in the 2020 election. And then instead he released documents that prove the opposite. They prove that Russia was actually trying to help him. Well, do you see the Republicans saying, as they should be saying, I'm never supporting you again, you effing liar, you good
Yeah,
for nothing, but they don't do that. It's
they
like they
don't
go,
say a
well,
word.
whatever, right? Because they're part of that tribe and they'll stick to them. That's always the case. There'll be a certain number like that, but too many have bailed. Not to
Yeah,
mention people like Tucker Carlson now, because he's
I
he's
know.
against Israel, but some of them are really pro-Israel, so they're fighting with each other. They've got major problems going into this next election.
I
So
love
that's
it.
the
I
bottom
love
line.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend.
All right. Again, it was nice talking with you. We'll connect again soon.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.